morning, I just want to share with you from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 6, verse 6 through 11, which we have listened. I just give a topic or a title for that: what is allowed to do on Sabbath? What we can do on Sabbath? I want to share with you my experience before we dive into the text. I grew up in Ethiopia in different category of religious experience. I was born from the Muslim family, and I grew up in the Muslim traditions and the beliefs until the age of 12. Then Christ got my family. That I say some people, they say I got Christ, but man cannot get Christ by his knowledge or by his doing things, but it is Christ who got people. So Christ got my family when I was 12 years old from very dominant Muslim community. So after 12 years old, we became followers of Christ, and then I grew up in the Lutheran church, but in Orthodox community, in Orthodox Christians or the Coptic Christian community. So I was born in Islam, family raised up as Lutheran among the Coptic or the Orthodox tradition and the belief. So those experience as a good introduction for our today's message, because I just want to give you how others think religion or their beliefs. So when, as I've said, from my childhood, what I remember about Islam is to be a good Islam or to be safe in Islam religions, every person has to do something, because salvation for them is depend on what they are doing. For us, as we know, it's not what we are doing, it is what Christ has done for us. For the Muslim, it is the reverse, that for salvation, everybody has to do something to please God or to be accepted God or to be saved. So every Muslim has to do 5 things in his life. They call the 5 pillars of Islam. And the first thing they have to do is their confession, like we did our confession. They have to confess about Muhammad is the only prophet and there is only one God. What they call is Shahada. That's everybody has to confess that. And even when the baby born, after the first born, the baby born, the first word they speak in the baby's infant ear is the Shahadas. Maybe if you have seen any Muslim, when they born, they just speak in their ears saying the Shahada, that Muhammad is the only prophet and there is only one God. And the second thing they have to do is about their prayers. They have to pray 5 times a day. I don't know how many times a day we pray, but they pray 5 times a day. That's a must. They have to pray. And when they pray, they have different rituals they do, especially clean their some parts of their body to be shown as a cleanse before their God. So they have to pray 5 times a day. And the third is they have to give what they have, 2% of what they have, 2 and above. They can give even more than that, but the list is everybody has to give 2% of what they have. And the fourth one is they have to fast. Now they did that fast in the Ramadan, that everybody has to fast, and they have to fast for 30 days. So in the month of Ramadan, and the last one, which I kind of mostly work on my studies, the jihad. I hope you heard about it. The jihad is very important for them, because jihad, of course in Islam there are 2 kinds of jihad. The lesser jihad and the greater jihad. Jihad means in Arabic it is the fight. the literal meaning for jihad is just fight. So the bigger or the largest or the very important jihad is struggle or fight with themselves, fighting with themselves, fighting their desires of money, fighting their desires of sexual, fighting their desires of these worldly things. So they fight themselves just to keep themselves clean before God. So that's why they are praying and they do the pilgrim. Every Muslim has to go to the Holy Land, to Mecca once in his lifetime, just to kiss the holy stone, what they call, where Abraham sacrificed his son Ishmael for them. They call it Ishmael. So they have to go to Mecca and they kiss that stone where Abraham sacrificed his son Ishmael, according to that belief. So I grew up in that mentality that every person has to do something good to be accepted with God. And then I have friends and very good co-workers in my neighborhood when I go up there, the Coptics or the Orthodox Christians. Ethiopia is a very strong Coptic Christian country in history. The Coptic or the Orthodox, especially the Eastern Orthodox, with the Russians, Orthodox with the Greek and with the Egypt, because they have protection there. So the same thing, even though they are Christians, they do something to please God. They try to be a nice and very accepted with God, and even some of them just ignore the world and they go and live in monasteries. So if you go to Ethiopia, you will see a lot of monasteries that they just leave all their properties and they just deny this. They call denying the world, and they are living in their separate world to pray to God. And also they give, they believe in giving, mostly similar to Catholics. By giving, they think they please God, and they do those traditions to be accepted to God. And also they believe in intermediators of the angels and Marys, and they don't dare to come before the Father, except even to Jesus directly, but they believe in intercessions of the angels, especially in Gabriel or Michael. So there are churches in that names in Ethiopia. So for me, growing in that traditional mentality and background, coming to our today's text, the Jewish, the Israelites, almost they have the same kind of tradition about their faith, that they very strongly emphasize on the laws, keeping the law, the 10 Commandments especially, keeping that to please God, to please Yahweh. So in one of the morning, when Jesus came to the synagogue, to their worship place, as you know, synagogue is where they worship, they came to them because for them there are three things very important. The first is their synagogue, where they worship. The second is the Torah, the book of the Moses, and the third is their community, the community they call the Ummah. So this is very important for them. So in that context, Jesus came and entered the synagogue. When he just entered the synagogue, he saw a man with a paralyzed right hand. He was there. I think he was not in the community, because in their beliefs, if someone is not perfect, maybe if his hand is paralyzed, or he lost his one eye, or he just paralyzed in somebody, or the woman who is, if she is in her prayer, they cannot sit with the community there. They have a separate place, because they think they are unclean. They think as they are cursed. That's why they cannot sacrifice. So when Jesus came, it was in the synagogue, but somebody with a right hand paralyzed head, who was just somewhere there. In the Bible, the right hand has a lot of meanings. If you see in Psalms, David in his Psalms, in one place he said, when they were he said, Jerusalem, if I forget you, let my right hand forget me. So for them, the right hand is the symbol of strongness, the symbol of mighty. That's their identity for them, the right hand. And also in Revelation chapter 1, when we see Jesus revealed himself, or John saw Jesus holding the 7 stars, the 7 churches on his right hand. So the right hand is, as I've said, it is a symbol of strongness, and it is very important. So this man has lost his right hand. That means lost his identity, lost his strength, physically, spiritually, and also financially. This man is in that problem. But he is close to the synagogue. So when Jesus saw him, he just saw him, and he called that man to where he has never been there. He just said, "You guy, stand up and come here." These 2 words are very important for him. Stand up means just leave your place. Leave you the place where your paralyzed situation put you in. Come here. Come into the community. And then when he did that, the religious people, the traditionals, they followed the rules, they just mad at him. It is a kind of reverse. Instead of rejoicing, instead of happy about the man, they were mad at him. So when Jesus saw them, he just see what is in their heart. So he asked 2 questions, very important questions. And each question has 2 components. The first question he asked the Pharisees and the Sadducees is, on Sabbath, on Holy Sunday, what is allowed to do? Is it doing good or evil? These are very opposite words. Which one is allowed in Sabbath? Is it doing good or evil? This is the first question. The second question is, which one is allowed? Saving life or destroying? So, good and evil, save and kill. These are just 2 categories. Good goes with saving, evil goes with destroying. So, this question, or this Jesus' word, divide Jesus and the Pharisees. Because Jesus said, which one is allowed to do in Sabbath? This is my topic, as I've said. And with that, he brought this question. Because now, calling someone who is paralyzed, who lost his identity, who lost his hope, bringing back to restoration, bringing back to life, that's good, isn't it? Yeah, that's what Jesus is saying. But people, the Pharisees, the Sadducees who are there, they're thinking about doing, why he is doing that for this man? Let him keep him paralyzed. Let him keep him away from the community. That is evil. So, on Sabbath, that differentiates Jesus and those people. That's why he asked me, which one is allowed? Is it the one which I am doing? Or is it the one you are thinking? Because I am doing good. You are thinking evil. So, which is allowed on Sabbath? Who is right now? That was Jesus' question. And the second question is, which is allowed in Sabbath? Killing life or saving life? Because, as I've said, for that man to be paralyzed, his right hand means spiritually he cannot go into the synagogue, as I've said, because he is not full, he is not perfect. So for him, spiritually, he is dying. He's dead man, because he cannot communicate with his God, because he cannot worship God. So for that person, doing that for Jesus is bringing him back to life. But in the last verse, if you will see what it says, the Pharisees and the Sadducees had meeting to just plan how to kill Jesus. On which? On Sabbath. So, what Jesus is saying is, now I'm saving life, but you are discussing how to kill me on Sabbath day. So, who is right? Is it what I am doing now, or is it your meeting now? Because they are just saying, we keep Sabbath holy and to please God, but their meeting is how to kill Jesus. That's why he said, which is allowed in Sabbath, saving life or killing life. Now, for this man, if you will preach for him about Sabbath, Sabbath is the day of the rest. Sabbath is the day of the feast. Sabbath is the day you meet with the Lord. And they keep him away from the community, and they keep him outside of the synagogue. Does it make sense for him about Sabbath? No. But if he got healing, and if he come to the community, and if he entered to the synagogue, that makes sense for him, the meaning of Sabbath. Jesus said, I came not to destroy the laws, but to fulfill it. Now, he is fulfilling the real meaning of Sabbath that God has given them in the creation time, because Sabbath was given for human beings, for rest, for peace, and to worship God. That was why Jesus raised from the dead on Sabbath to bring back that life to reality. That's why we worship our God on Sabbath, because he brought that restoration. Because of our sinfulness, because of our unclean life this man, we are far away from God. But through his death and resurrection, he brought back us on the resurrection, on Sabbath, on our peace. That's why today is Sabbath, that we come before our Lord and worship him, because of what we have done, but because of what he has done for us. Not what the Muslims are doing, not how the Catholics are thinking. It is how the Lord Jesus has done for us, to bring back in front of our Father's throne, restore our relationship, and give us true peace, having peace with him. May the Lord bless his words and message for our life forever. Amen.